Hello, I'm Simon.
And I'm Marielle.
And we are...
This is Indy.
And this is Indy getting on the show.
Hello.
And we're Blue Fox Comics, and we thought we'd start doing a little comic review roundup of stuff that we've read. And other stuff as well, I guess. So, this is issue 0 of this, because you've got to start somewhere. And issue 0 isn't really somewhere, is it?
No, it's more like issue 1. This is issue 1.
Yeah, but it's not as professional as issue 1. This is going to be...
This is issue first draft. With Indy. Who doesn't approve.
Okay.
Judging by her expression. Yep, she's left.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
you know, the audience has...
Had enough. Okay, so I thought we'd review something that we've read each, and then something that I've read and something that you've read. Is that the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what we thought we'd do is that we'd just review some of the comics that we've enjoyed, so then you get to know a little bit more about us and who's behind Blue Fox Comics, and yeah, we can also probably leave some comments afterwards below about what you're reading, about what you're interested in. Maybe if you think it's worth it and you'd be interested to hear what we think, you could ask us to review some of the things that you've read as well. It would be cool to see who's reading what, and recommendations are always welcome. So what we did is we picked a comic that just I have read and a comic that just you have read. And then we picked one that we have both read to see how well it goes when one of us doesn't know what the other's talking about, and when we both know what we're talking about. And then at the end we'll give you maybe a little insight into what we'll do next time if this works. Okay.
Yeah, on issue 1 or 2 next time.
1.2.
1.2.
1.2.
That's the one.
Okay, so I'm going to do Blacksad first. It's become apparent I can't do mirrors. So I have read actually all of the ones that are available, 1, 2 and 3 I think, unless anybody knows about a 4th one, please tell me. So yeah, and I read this a little while ago, and I really enjoyed it, which obviously led me on to 2 and 3. And I actually don't know what it is that I like so much about this. I mean, the story is fairly standard. It's a detective story.
Is it noir?
It is noir, but it's very bright noir, actually. I mean, one of the really, really nice things about this is the artwork, which obviously is very important, but I mean, I did read some of the nice little extras that are in some of the versions of these, the ones that I have, and they were talking about how they did it in watercolour, and sort of the drop of the watercolour, and it all was very technical, and I won't pretend to fully understand that, but you really notice it. It's really beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. The drawings are fantastic.
What sort of age limit is the book?
Now, yes, this is quite mature, I would say, because there are some, because it's anthropomorphic.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got that right. There are some moments, and I don't know if everyone would agree, but there are some moments which are slightly uncomfortable to witness. I mean, it's not overly graphic, to be fair, but it's, you know, it's there. Yeah. And so, yeah, that was a bit odd. And yes, because it's detective, because it's noir, because it follows those themes, you know, it's a mature read.
Murders? Any that sort of thing?
Murders, yes.
And other stuff.
Okay. It's that's why I say classic detective story. And, you know, they're quite linear. I wouldn't say that you see the endings coming or anything, but, you know, they're not too winding and complicated, but they're just enjoyable. And it's just an enjoyable read, and the characters are quite lovable, and there's humour in there, which is really important to me, certainly as a reader. And just a beautiful book. I mean, I highly recommend it. I'd be interested to see what other people think of it. I mean, one of the things that does come across quite strongly in here is sort of being based on how you look and you know, your race, your culture, where you come from. It's one of the themes, and Yeah, it's interesting how they manage that, and especially through their title character Blacksad himself. It's just good. I liked it. So highly recommended. Be interested to see what other people think.
Yeah.
And you should read it.
I should read it. Yes, I know it's terrible, isn't it? Okay, my go. I just recently had this for my birthday. It's called The Spire by Spurrier and Jeff Stokely and Andre May. It's it's really good. I mean, that's the nice big positive. I'm gonna need to read it again because it's one of those things where you get to the end, you think, oh right, okay, and then you start back through it, and you start to see really how clever they were and how much they seeded some of what went on later in the story earlier on. It's that sort of thing, so it's very clever. This does use flashbacks and stuff like that, so it's certainly one that you have to sit there and probably, for me, not have any other distractions going on, and you have to read it, because there are certain points, even when I was reading it the first time through, where I had to go back and reread it to try and understand it completely.
So what is it? What sort of story is it? What is it about?
It is about there's a spire in the middle of the desert, which is like and all around in the desert is sort of unlivable by humans. There are people that are nicknamed the Skews, and now I'm gonna can't really remember what, but they're nicknamed like the Skews, and it's not a nice nickname for them. But they're different sort of people. They're people, if you have a look, who have like legs here. So the main character is a Medusae, which is called a Medusae. So there are different races, which I think were have come about maybe because of war or whatever. So they've got different things. But I think it's set. I feel, and I should read about this, but it feels like it's set in the future of this Earth, because there are some sayings in there which are very Earth-like sayings, really, and so that kind of comes across. But your main character, this lady, who you travel, and also the guy on the back as well, who seems to get around by using gas as his.
Okay.
So, but it's very funny. So they are funny, and you do actually care for the characters quite a lot. She's called Captain Shawn, and the Skews, another word for the sculpted, so the different races that exist in this world. And she's the captain of the police, basically, who look after the Spire. But she's the only one which is one of the sculpted in the police, and they're not well liked. So again, it comes back to things like the Blacksad, different people being treated differently, and it's about her and her relationship with one of the daughters of the person who looks after the Spire, the main person of the Spire. So she actually has a relationship with the daughter and stuff like that. Which obviously complicates matters, and right at the beginning, I don't think spoilery at all to say that the person who does run the Spire dies at the beginning, and that's sort of what, again, with a lot of these things, what sets the whole thing into progress, whatever. Motion, thank you. Is that so? And that's what we follow, and that's what happens, and you find out what happened many years previous, which is like the mystery of the story, and she's caught up in finding that out.
Okay.
So
there are lots of arcs, lots of different things.
There are lots of layers to it,
or
as they say in Spire speak, lots of tears. There's lots of tears on the thing, but it is very good. I will go back and read it and pick out again all the things that I really liked about it. I recommend it.
Cool. Again, is that mature?
It's a mature. I'd say it's a mature one. Again, a lot of the books, not necessarily because of the adult themes, but because they're just complicated in a nice way. They're just really complicated, and they're not. And whilst obviously Marvel, DC are complicated to a degree, they're also not complicated as well as this sort of thing. This is multi-layer. You really have to sort of sit there and think about it. So I think slightly older people will get more out of this.
Okay. Yeah.
So there you go.
Cool.
That's the Spire.
Okay. And now we're going to talk about letter 44, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
I love this. I picked this up at one of the Comic Cons we were at because I was just having a break from being on the table, and actually the guy, I picked this up and I was just flicking through because I love space, astronauts, all that sort of stuff. So I picked it up and I thought, ooh, this looks spacey. And the guy behind the counter, he was just like, please buy that, just buy it, it's the best. And he was right. It's really, really good.
Yeah.
Yes, because I think, did you read it before me or did I read it
no,
first?
No, you read it first.
I read it first, okay. And so, yeah, I mean, lots of things keep happening. I would say it's quite action packed in lots of ways.
It is. It's like a series. It's like a Netflix series, isn't it? There's a lot going on all the time and lots of twists and stuff.
Yeah, very, very much. There are a lot, and they are layers. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not. It doesn't sound like the Spire sort of layers, but there are layers. There are things going on. So so it starts with the letter 44. There's a change of presidency. There's new president coming in, and when he comes in, he gets left with this letter 44, and basically it's saying that there's this secret mission going on in space that absolutely nobody knows about. And there you go. And that's what sets this one in motion. That's how it starts. And so you get glimpses. So it goes between Earth and the mission and what they're getting up to and what they're finding and why it's secret and all those things. There are quite a lot of people involved. It is quite political, but in a really fun way. So I wouldn't want to say it's like a political read because that would give the wrong impression. But
same politicalness as 24 would be.
Yeah, that's right.
There is political stuff there, but really, generally, just to get the story moving and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, it's not West Wing, which is wonderful, and people love West Wing. But I wouldn't want to say that this is West Wing.
Yeah.
But lots going on, and just like you say, a Netflix series, stuff keeps happening, and it's a real page turner, and I am actually, I've done number 2 now.
Yeah.
So I have Joy, number 3 and 4. I was very excited to know that they were available.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so it really is a story which doesn't let up as well. So
yes.
And you kind of. You get behind the characters. I think especially the characters who are on the mission in space. You sort of care about those guys because they're sort of there to save humanity, and no one actually knows that they're doing this because it's a top secret sort of mission. So you sort of feel for them. Yeah,
very much. It's really good. Really, really good. I wouldn't say it's The Martian for anyone looking for something that is really space accurate or anything. But if you like. Space stories, if you like spaceships, action stuff like that, this is the one. And I think I'm just going to throw in, I think it has a good balance of characters and sexes and all of that sort of stuff. It's not just about any one thing. It's everybody's involved, and that's really nice. So yes, highly recommend that one as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
So. Do you want to just go on to what we might be doing
I
next
will.
time?
What I will say is, because we haven't mentioned them, but what we will do is we'll pop below the video, we'll just pop, sort of like the names of what we've reviewed, the authors, the artists, and the publishing houses. Just so that you know what you're looking for if you haven't read any of these yet. And we'll just let you know what we're going to do next. Yeah,
and I think a lot of what we do here is that we're reviewing the books. And obviously, the books are written and drawn by people, but we're not going to focus in on because we like this author or we like this particular artist. We'll just review the books that we like, and it's basically the coming together of the artist and the writer and the letter and the colour and the inker and the penciler and that sort of thing. So that's what we're sort of getting across. The book as a whole. If this is the culmination of everybody's hard work. Yes. So yes. So. What I'm reading now is Pride of Baghdad,
which I picked up in our local comic book store.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've started it, and I will continue. And I don't know how I feel about it yet. Is all I will say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They warned us, didn't they? They warned us it might not be the happiest of endings.
Well, Bambi was mentioned,
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, oh no, because of course Bambi made me cry, and probably still would if I watched it again. I haven't got that far through, but it certainly doesn't feel like Bambi. It's not Disney, so so don't let that guide you. But yes, I'll see how I get on with that one.
Okay. Yes, we've got down here. Oh yes, these ones. Although number 1 is missing at the moment, but we have got it. Glitter Bomb, which I think we have both read, but we'll review it next time. And don't think the trade is out yet for this sort of graphic novel out there. But yes, that's one that we read, and obviously if we bought 4 of them, we didn't not like it. So there we go. So that's coming up. And one that I read a while ago, and actually what I will do is I'll reread. I read the individual issues for for Black Science, and now I've got a trade. I'm going to reread the trade because actually again it's one that I really like. I don't want to say anything more now, but
no, that's true.
But that's what we do.
So we won't be reviewing ones that are necessarily just out, or we'll just do, as we say, the whole books and things like that. And they won't always just be ones that we just loved. We will also throw, it's just whatever we've read. We will let you know what we think, and we would love to know what you think too.
Okay. There's again there'll be more links down below. We have Blue Fox Comics. Oh, you can see it here. BlueFoxComics.com.
Strategically placed.
Yes, and at Blue Fox Comics. We are a small indie publishing, small press publisher of comics. So we have several titles, but we'll get round to ours. I'm not going to push it down anyone's throat right now, but by all means go have a look on the website and stuff like that, and other stuff as well. Yes, anyway, I'm waffling.
Thank you very much for watching, for listening. As I say, please leave comments in the links below. If you do know us, if you wanted to mention any of our comics or anything like that, let us know what you'd like to hear as well, because you're watching. So thank you very much, and see you next time.
Yeah. Bye.